Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. One of my favorite things to do is this thing called Dreamforce, and I've been doing it now for several years, covering that event, writing stories about it, following them here, follow them over at a CBS station as well, and of course with USDailyReview.com. Love doing it. Looking forward to 2013, and I'm going to spend some time talking to some of the businesses that go to Dreamforce and learn more about their past experience, what their expectations are about it going forward. Will Wiegler's with one of those groups, and his organization, his company is called the Task Group, and that's TAS. And in fact, if you look it up online, it's the THE or the Task Group, THETASGROUP.com. Will, welcome to the program.
Hi, Kevin. Great to be here.
Glad to have you. So tell us, first of all, how long have you been participating in Dreamforce? How many years?
Well, so the TAS Group has been participating since about 2005.
Okay.
And we were not there every year, but we started off there, and we've come back in the last couple of years in a big way.
Okay. And how big of a way?
So we... Last year, we were a silver sponsor. We're going to be a sponsor again this year. For us, it's an important event. So we bring our entire sales organization. We bring our executive team. We bring many of our marketing people. In addition to just being a sponsor there and having a booth in the expo, we also participate in a lot of the sessions. So we work very hard to get our customers presenting on stage in many of the sessions, as well as many of the Salesforce staff as well, presenting and talking about the value that our product brings to Salesforce customers. So we try as much as we can to be pretty much everywhere across Salesforce, across the Dreamforce event. And as you know, I know you've been there in the past, Kevin, it's quite a huge event.
Oh my goodness, it's incredible. It's like a city in a feels like a relatively small building because of how many people are in there. It's a huge building, although I personally think they're going to outgrow the Moscone Center. It seems like a question of when, not if. But by the way, for those who aren't familiar, it's in San Francisco every year in the Moscone Center. And I know they, of course, have deep roots in the Silicon Valley, and so that's the natural place to go. But I wonder about it in the future.
Yeah, so I mean, even in the past couple of years, they have expanded beyond the Moscone Center. So they're in both main halls of Moscone, and then they also do a lot of breakout sessions and other activities in some of the hotels within walking distance.
True.
And, I know that's going to just continue. And they do events outside of the Moscone area as well. They do a large concert, and this year it's expanding to the baseball field. And, they're just, it's a growing thing. And last year they had, reportedly 72,000 attendees there from 150 countries, and that's up from the year before where they had 45,000 attendees. So this year you can count on probably over 100,000 people attending.
Wow. Say that again. How many?
So last year they had 72,000 people that they claim attended on opening day. And that so went from 45,000 the year before to 72,000. So, my guess is it's probably going to go over 100,000 this year.
I got to tell you, it felt twice as full last year than it did the year before. And that one almost felt twice as full than the year before that. And so I've been going, I guess, since 2010. Yeah, since 2010. And I love it. I always look forward to it. It's a great thing to cover. A lot of Uber networking, if you know what I mean. Is that a big part of what you're trying to accomplish as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's way more than just sort of being there in a booth and showing off our software, our DealMaker software. It's a lot to do with networking. And so, we do a lot of prep work leading up to the event, a lot of activities at the event, and then a lot of follow-up afterwards. So as part of our lead-up activities, our sales team, our marketing team, we are setting up meetings. We're setting up sessions with people to meet at Dreamforce, because the reality is everybody who's in our market is going to have some presence at Dreamforce. They're going to be sending somebody from their company, and we want to make sure that we have time to meet with them. And then we do a lot of follow-up activities as well. And we set up a lot of metrics to sort of measure the effectiveness of our presence there. And we measure it in terms of the number of meetings that are held, the size of the pipeline, the opportunities that the salespeople add to their pipeline within 30 days, within 60 days following Dreamforce. So we look forward in terms of really measurable benefits that we get from the event, in addition to just the sheer number of people that we talk to.
Yeah, that's interesting. So kind of give me an idea of who your ideal client is that you're trying to engage with at that event.
Right. So what we do is we help B2B sales teams be more effective and more efficient. And by that I mean things like achieving higher win rates, larger deal sizes, shorter sales cycles, and better focusing on the truly qualified opportunities in a pipeline. So we're really, our customer is somebody who's in sales leadership in a company, in a B2B company. So it might be a VP of sales, it might be a sales manager, head of sales operations, that sort of thing. And our software, DealMaker, is actually native in Salesforce, meaning it's built in the Salesforce software environment. So our DealMaker software is hosted with Salesforce in a customer's instance. So basically, anybody who's a B2B business in Salesforce is of interest to us. And the larger the sales organization, the more value we can bring to their company.
Let me ask you, one of the things I notice and one of the frustrations that a lot of the people at Salesforce have a problem with is that a lot of the people that come to booths are, frankly, a lot of tire kickers. It's really hard to find people that are actual decision makers. Sounds like you're trying to reach actual C-level type individuals. You'll often get a lot of the people that are on other booths who are simply trying to come over and see what kind of free stuff you have. You know what I'm talking about. What kind of things do you do to try to navigate through that? And by the way, that's not a problem unique to Dreamforce. If anything, Dreamforce kind of insulates their client from a lot of that through their pricing and those other things. But it's still a problem there, if you know what I mean. What do you do to try to insulate yourself a little bit from that?
Sure. So, I've been doing marketing for many years, and with a lot of different technology companies. I've been attending Dreamforce for years, as well as lots of other similar events on a smaller scale and even larger scale. And at any of these events, you're going to get a lot of noise, if you will, right? People coming to the booth who just want to talk to you, want to sell something to you, or just want to see what you're giving away that's free. And so one of the things that I do on the days leading up to Dreamforce is that I do some training sessions with our sales team and with anybody who's going to be working in our booth, and we train on that. We talk about what are the messages you want to deliver. How do you get your message out to a prospective, visitor at your booth as quickly as possible to ascertain and determine whether they are really somebody who you want to spend time talking with, or whether they're just kicking the tires and you want to move on to somebody else. And so we work through that, and we try and obviously be polite and help anybody who comes up to our booth, but make sure that we focus on the right people. And then the other part, which I had mentioned earlier, is we try and set up a lot of key meetings in advance. So if we know the companies that are going to be there that we would love to be talking with, we try and set up some of those meetings ahead of time. We have a meeting room at Dreamforce that we can use for private meetings, but also bringing people to our booth. And quite frankly, some of the buzz that happens around the booth with just lots of people coming is a good thing also, because the more activity you have around your booth, the more vibrant it is and the more people want to see what's going on there. And many times we'll have somebody stop by the booth, we'll show them our software, we'll spend a few minutes with them, and then later they'll bring other people from their company back and they'll say, I saw this earlier, I'm not the guy who's the decision maker, but I'm going to bring over somebody who is, because this really looks amazing.
Well, I really appreciate your time today. The TAS Group is THETASGROUP.com. Will, thanks so much for being with us. I want to put you on hold for a minute. I need to get some information from you. Great job, though. Thanks, and look forward to seeing you there.
Great, Kevin. Make sure to stop by our booth. I'd love to talk with you there.
You bet. All right, when we come back, much more for you. I do want to remind you, you're listening to The Price of Business.